Open your mouth. Spread your legs. Clear. Let's go.
What up, what up? You already know what it is. Your boy Pistol P. Welcome back to Dog in the Yard. Today we got Dr. Joseph Williams in the building from Brownsville, New York, Brooklyn. Stand up. You already know what it is. He did 15 years, and today he's here to break it down to us, man, and let us know, his life story. You know what I'm saying? And all the trials and tribulations that he went through and what he achieved and what he got going on today. And with that being said, let's get right to it. Your boy Pistol P, Dog in the Yard. What up, what up? You already know it's your boy Pistol P. Welcome back to Dog in the Yard. Today we got Dr. Joe Williams in the building, and we got my co-host, Tone BX all day in the building. My co-host, you already know, BX in the building. What up, Tone? What up?
What up?
What up, Dr. Joe? What up, brother?
See you, baby. How you feeling?
How you been?
I'm good, Kings. I'm good. Building. So can't complain.
How long you been home?
Freedom is a must. This 30th of this month makes 12 years of freedom.
That's a blessing.
After 15 in total. So yeah, like we here to celebrate. We here to continue to build, and we here to promote healing.
Absolutely.
That's
what it's about.
That's what we here for.
That's right. We're gonna do that. Let's get right to it, man. For those that don't know, Dr. Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself, your upbringing. I know you're from Brownsville, but you was raised in East New York. So let's talk a little bit about that, your upbringing, siblings, and, what got you, into getting in trouble and what led to, your incarceration and all that.
Copy. So Dr. Joe, born and raised, I'm from the Ville, grew up in East New York, Linden houses, specifically Gersh Park, got kicked out of Thomas Jefferson, had to get my GED, found myself in and out of prison throughout the life course. Facing a 13-year sentence in prison in New York, I knew I had to handle my business when it came to school, primarily because my mom's had me at 15, turned 16 that year. She was the first one in my family to get a college degree. And when she did it, I remember I promised her, Mommy, I'm gonna be the next one in the family to graduate. Although my grandmother was the next one, she got her associates. Me going to prison, doing the time that I did, in 2011, I became a college grad. I got my associates from Bard College while I was in Eastern. And so being the oldest child and grandchild on both sides of my family, it was like everybody looked up to me. But I also, being the oldest child and grandchild, I was the trailblazer. So I did everything first. I got in trouble first. I got it the worst first. And in that course of, on my mom's side, I'm 9 years older than my sister. On my pop's side, although my pops wasn't there growing up, I have rumored 20, maybe 25 brothers and sisters.
Okay.
I know hard body a good 4 or 5 of them. Like we locked in, we grow up together, we party together. They was just recently at my prom party for my doctorate. And, that's what it was like. It was tough growing up in Brownsville, but really growing up in the East. My mom's being a single mother, really trying, being adamant, you're not gonna be a statistic. Having a little sister, that's one of my first, only 2 women names on me is my sister and my daughter. And this attack from Jersey, my little sister was like my first daughter. So growing up poor, having to get money, not want to be teased because we poor, because I had to shop on Pick and Ave and Favors, and I don't want my sister going through that. So by like 9-2, 9-3, 13, 14, I started pitching drugs. And by the time I was 15, like 9-4, I had a name in the East. I had a name in Linden. I was like, I was known as a little nut, And I ran the streets, and I ran the streets because in the streets, I actually found safety. In the streets, I found community. And in the streets, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, he has this need, love, and belonging. And I found that when I went outside and the people that I've been through, some of the things that they've been through, I connect with them. And then connected with them, I felt welcome. I didn't feel alone. And so that's what I liked about the East versus growing up in Brownsville. But that was what it was like, you know, my upbringing, my siblings, and just like how I got into the game early.
So at 13, you was out there, you already selling drugs. What your mom's was going through. I mean, she ain't had no control of you at that point. Like, how many siblings you had in the house with you? 4?
Nah, at the time it was just me and my sister. I'm 9 years older than my sister. All my other siblings was on my pop's side, so he wasn't really there. So it was just me and my mom's. The thing that shifted, because I ain't gonna front, my mom's like, once upon a time, Russia was known as like the Iron Curtain and the Velvet Glove type shit, right? My mom's, my mom's had me in super check. Like, I was scared of my mom's. My mom's had this idea of going into the military because, you know, her work ethic was like, I'm not gonna be on welfare, you're not gonna be in the streets, I'm not gonna be a statistic, you're gonna get a job, you're gonna go to college. That was her lens. What I found is that when my mother decided to go into the military, they sent her to basic training and they sent her over to Korea. When it happened, my grandmother moved into our spot in Brownsville. My little sister went to Linden to live with my aunt because my aunt had my little cousins over there. There was more children over there. So when my mom's bounced, that kind of like released that iron curtain. And when I say I lost my mind,
Yeah, nobody to tell you.
I lost my
no
mind.
pressure on you. Nobody to put pressure on you at all.
Facts. But even before she left, though, she was losing that whole. And it's not that she had control of me. Like, I didn't get into the street selling drugs because, like, I had to. My mom's wasn't strung out, although my pops was addicted to substances growing up. It was about being poor, being laughed at, not wanting to go through that, not wanting my sister to go through that. But as I got older, the anger in me was the thing that drove me. So even though I might not been selling drugs early, I'm getting into a fight. I'm hitting somebody with a chair.
Yeah, you was going there.
I'm bringing a knife to school and I'm getting suspended.
Yeah, I can relate. Same shit. Motherfucker was out of control. My mom's, they had no control. I was bringing all kind of shit to school. Hitting teachers with a chair and all kind of shit. I was fucking up, so I can relate, man. Trust me, man. Sometimes it be other shit that we might need. We just didn't have the education to give us what we needed at that point.
That's a fact.
You feel me?
But I got a question for you. You know, you speak about, you know, like solving your problems with violence or whatever at a certain point. And I'll ask you this specifically because, you know, you've been through some levels of education. You dropped a couple of bombs as you were introducing yourself and you started off in your story. So first of all, you said promote healing. You know, I want you to kind of unpack that at one point. And then after that, you said, I got my doctorate. He's talking about his doctorate degree. Right. So he's throwing these terms out there as if they're simple things, right? But it takes a lot of wherewithal and a lot of resilience to actually accomplish these types of things. That's one of the reasons why Joe is here, right? So I definitely want to draw emphasis on that. So as a side effect of this being an individual who has a PhD, right, in social work, I want to ask him this next question. Why do you think you were hitting people over the heads with chairs? And why do you think you were solving your problems in a violent way as opposed to an intellectual way? And it could be a variety of different things. So, I mean, I'm not asking you to exhaust the list, but maybe you can give me one or two.
Good question, Tone. I know growing up, I always say, I named my son Ashur, A-S-H-U-R, right? And it's a version of Asher. Jacob had 12 sons, and when Asher was born, his mom's named him Asher because she said, now I'm happy. And in a dream before my son was born, I had a dream that I was approached and said, you will name him Ashur. And I said, Ashur like Shakur. And so his name is A-S-H-U-R. And I named him Ashur because I wanted my son to grow up happy. I grew up angry. My mother had me at 15, turned 16 that year. My pops wasn't in the picture. My family being a family from the South, we understood discipline was you get your ass whooped. And when we think of discipline under the lines of you get your ass whipped, that form of discipline is vestiges of slavery, right? When you think of Kunta giving up his name Kunta and taking on Toby, it was in the act of him getting beat. Growing up, the primary method of discipline for those who didn't know any better was to beat. So I used to get beatings for everything. The teacher called home from school, I'm getting a beating. I get into a fight, I'm getting a beating. If my aunt found out I ran from a fight, I'm getting a beating. My mother found out you don't go outside to fight, you walk away, I'm getting a beating if I fight. So I found at the end of the day, I'm damn near always getting a beating. Hold on, I ain't gonna keep taking this, and ain't nobody gonna get this.
Right.
And so I found that it was like a little snap in me. It was like I equated it to a quarter slot. Passive aggressive anger. I take it, I take it, I take it, I take it, I take it. It fills up, I explode. And then when I explode that last quarter, but it wasn't that serious. You didn't have to go that far. It was growing up angry. And so not understanding emotional regulation, not understanding the impact of ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, and how that impacts the development of a child, impact the development of a human. I didn't understand these terms, I didn't understand these concepts. I just knew I felt something, and I also knew that when I saw red, saw black, and let it out, I felt better.
I think we gotta, but everything that you just broke down and everything you unpacked, I think there's a lot of learning moments in a lot of the stuff that you just said, right? So the goal here is, to bring individuals here and not make it easy, right? And when I say not make it easy, I mean individuals who are learned, whether you're informally learned, you learned a lot of stuff from a lot of smart people in the street that knew how to navigate the street, or whether you went into institutions and learned from professors and facilitators and instructors, right? We bring smart people here, right? Being smart is about mindset shifting, about shifting your mindset so that you can make better decisions, right, to promote your constructive development, right? So what you're actually speaking about, right, is understanding what the tool was that was being used in your environment to have a particular type of impact. And as a side effect, nobody had to tell you that you needed to use violence to be respected. What you received from all of the beatings that you were getting was that I need to start beating people. And as a side effect, you learned that beating people put you in a better set of circumstances, put you on the top as opposed to the bottom. I'm not sitting here saying that was right. I'm not sitting here saying that is wrong, right? That's for you to decide. And that's for every individual that follow us, that watch the podcasts to decide, right? Facts. Our goal is to promote the good. Because in so many instances, we see on a cover of different magazines, newspapers, and so on and so forth, the bad guy that went to prison, right? And we hear his story and his background. But here on Dog in the Yard, we like to bring the dog to the yard because this is the yard where you can unpack it and talk about the mindset shift and all of the good things you've done, right? So you've learned to practice, a term in psychotherapy called retrospective reappraisal, to look back at your history, right? And to speak about ACEs. ACEs is adverse childhood experiences. And we need to know that when we beat our children, that gives the child an adverse childhood experience because the child knows or learns through the beating that they should do certain things out of fear, right? They should fear the beating as opposed to tapping into the child's intellect and explaining to the child, wow, the things that they're doing they shouldn't be doing because it's counterproductive. Facts. So ACEs come in a variety of different forms. When a child has to figure out what they're going to eat at night or if there's going to be a meal at night, that's an adverse childhood experience. So some of us, we're imposing these ACEs on children as we speak, as we actually go through this podcast. But the goal is to educate our audience and get our audience to understand that there are certain things that we need to do to break the cycle so we can have more individuals coming from where we come from with doctorate degrees, PhDs like Dr. Joe, and master's degrees and so on and so forth, and all kind of other degrees like my boy Pete. So again, we here, Dog in the Yard, we got Dr. Joe. We want him to build on a little bit more.
Yeah, Joe, so with that being said, right, what age you went to jail?
All right, so
like when you escalated that you finally the punches and the fights and the beating up and all that, when that escalated to where you Joe went to jail and it started,
So for those of y'all out there that don't know the difference, I'm gonna drop this on y'all, right? I started going to jail, being Spofford, being Rikers, being the county at 13, 14. Armed robbery with a cap gun. The first time I ever got pulled out of school by police for armed robbery, we was going to William McKinley Junior High School in Bay Ridge. I was with some of my mans and them. For whatever reason, we had this idea. We took this Walkman. It was one of them yellow Walkmans, the yellow and gray ones we took the joint. The next day, I'm in the lunchroom. I still remember my back was on the wall when they came and got me. First time I had cuffs on my wrist. Right? So this was in school. So we talking about 91, 92. By the time 92, in my book, in my intro, the only time I ever had a gun put in my mouth was by a cop out of the 75th precinct. I was 13 years old. They thought I tried to rob the store, but I actually got into a fight with the owner of the store. Because, you know, in our neighborhood, sometimes we don't get treated the best and we get talked too crazy. And I told her I was a pop-off artist. I like to fight. Like, it was times I passed my gun off to fight. Like, hold this, let's get to it. I like to fight, you know. In fact, I'm going to get back to it, but I got shot because son ain't want to fight me.
Got you.
Like, son grew up with me. I got shot because they didn't want to fight me. So I like to fight a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was your shit.
That was my thing, and it wasn't, and I fight you, I cut you, I stab you, and I clap. Like, a lot of my stuff was in the streets. And so getting back to this idea of the healing and the parenting and everything,
I want to ask you a question, though, right, about the fighting thing, right? Because me and Pete, we talk about this all the time. Like, where we come from, beating somebody up is easy.
Yes.
Right? Because, and it's not to say that it's right, but you could call me and say, yo, man, this dude over here, he did this, that, and the third. And I'll be like, yo, bring him to me. I'm going to beat him up.
That's a fact. Why?
It's not, we're not trying to, we don't see it as younger people or individuals who are on a lower level of the way, in the way that we solve our problems as a crime. We don't see it like when we go to beat somebody up, we're not trying to kill them.
That's a fact.
Right. So I just wanted to unpack that a little bit, because some people that don't come from where we come from, they'll think that that me and you can be on the phone, and I can tell you, yo, bring him over here, I'm gonna beat this dude up. That all of a sudden it means that I'm gonna kill him, and that don't always amount to that.
So here's I'm working on a workshop under my Lyfe-Chess YNK, my consulting practice. In it, I provide counseling and consulting for those who have been impacted by systems, impacted by trauma. Under this particular workshop, there's a space and a place where we talk about understanding the dialects of violence.
Nice.
Violence is actually a language that is native to America. Violence is America's first language. When we ask, oh, what's your primary language? English, Spanish. For America, it's violence. When we think about the foundation of this country, it was a jukes on a jukes.
Yeah, it was,
right?
It was based on violence.
It was based on violence. It was a robbery with Columbus in them. And then those who were here said, you know what, Britain, we're going to rob you. Right? So it was a robbery on a robbery, but how was it founded? It was founded on violence.
That's right.
The American Revolution, violence, independence.
It was built by violence.
It was built by violence. So now when we fast forward to today, when we fast forward to today, our culture, first language is violence. We learn it from infancy and discipline. It's not don't touch hot, hot. It's psh, don't touch. And now it's the fear of the pop. Violence, the first language communication of violence.
That's right. And instilling fear in people.
And it changed. So I was speaking to my big homie Fry a couple years ago, and he taught me something. He actually changed my discipline practices. And one of my workshops in Lyfe-Chess YNK is Fathering Forward, which we talk about healthy discipline practices. He called me one day and he said, you know, he went to pick up his son, and his son did something in school and got in trouble. And so when he was asking about it, his son was in essence telling. He was telling on his friends. Now my big homie Fry done clapped police, he done did time, like he done fez, he done like he home now, family man. That's still my mentor, still my big homie, I still tap in, right? And he said to me, he said Rookups, because my bros from the street, they still call me by my street name, Ja Rookups.
Gotcha.
So they still call me Rookups. So he says, Rookups, my little man, he give me the story, I went to get him, And he said, yo, I was mad. I had to send him in the basement and I had to go take a minute. He said, I wanted to slap the shit out my son. But I refused to put my hands on my son because I don't want to raise my son to fear me in order to do the things that I expect him to do. I want him to do the things that he's supposed to do because the outcomes he wants. Right. I also want him to recognize it's not okay for anybody to put their hands on you.
That's right.
And I thought about that. How can I parent in the absence of a beating? And why do I think a beating is normal parenting practice? Maybe it's a vestige of slavery. The violence inflicted upon the body is intended to control the mind and the behavior. So when we in the store and you see the parent with the little kid that's touching everything and jumping over everything, and depending on who their parent is Billy, stop. Okay, Mom. Depending on who the other parent is, it's, if you don't get your ass over here, I'm gonna bust your ass embarrassing me. The optics, what does it teach? Well, one teaches, this is your space. You could do whatever you want. The other parenting style teaches a fear of, do not embarrass me, shrink yourself, don't make me hurt you. How are we raising this language of violence from the start?
Right.
How are we raising kings and queens?
Yep.
Facts.
Deep. I appreciate that.
So, you went to jail what year?
So I went to jail. So my first time going to jail, 92, right? So 92, 93, 94, I'm in and out of Spofford. This when Spofford was in the Bronx.
Yeah, the Bronx.
So I was in
Huss Point.
And yeah, so I was in Spofford because you know they're like Crossroads and all of that. That's not Spofford.
Yeah.
We know Spofford from being in the Bronx.
In the Bronx, right there, Huss Point. I was there too. So
I was there mad times, in and out. But my first state prison bid, I got arrested, was 98. I got arrested on I-78 with 86 grams of crack and 2 guns in my Jeep. I was headed back to Charlotte, North Carolina. This was right after I got shot. I got shot in 9/7. And so...
How old you was?
In 9/7, I was 18. And I had, like, right after I got shot...
You got caught when you got shot?
Huh?
When you got caught and you got shot?
Nah.
No, when you got caught, you was 18?
No, when I got shot, I was 18.
Oh, okay.
9/7, I got hit. In 9/6, I got knocked with my last personal gun. The jump out boys knocked me. Getting a paid lawyer, fighting, I ended up getting 30 days. I went in, did 30 days, June or July. Came on 4th of July, 9/7. I got shot that night, 4th of July. Couldn't walk for a minute. By September of 9/7, I'm back now in Charlotte, back and forth, I'm getting money.
Okay.
On the re-up, come March 98, we headed back. We came back to New York, driving back, got pulled over. My Cody was he was driving. He was older, had kids, was in the military, no record. I'm a teenager, no kids, already got a jacket. I was taught the rules. Like, Fry taught me, when you go to jail, when you in this life, when you go to jail, ain't no guns. So you gotta know how to fight, you gotta know how to do this. Certain protocols don't make sense, 2 people going down for a bid. So I was actually schooled on the rules of this life before I delved into the life. And with that being said, once we got pulled over and they found the 2 hammers, I'm like, yo, everything is mine, cut him loose. So he got cut loose. I copped out to 8, got sentenced to 7 in New Jersey. So from 98 to 02, I locked up in Jersey. I came home April 8th, 02, and I was only home 9 months in a week.
Okay.
And in that time, within 2 months, I was back selling drugs. I was in Middletown, so I was getting money in Middletown. When I came home, my team was pimping. Everything in the East, like, everybody was pimping. They was like, yo, I'm like, man, I got mad women in my family. I'm not a pimp, bro. I can't. I'm from taking money in. It was on the track. They had like real. It bugged me out. I never saw it. But within that time, within 9 months of being home, within 2 months, I'm back selling drugs in Middletown. Start with the weed, then I'm selling soft. Now I got hard. So in that process, my pops got killed in the setup that was meant for me in October 02. And when everything was said and done, like, I was broke. I gotta get on my feet. So I'm like, all right, let me do a robbery, son. Easy, I don't got hit nothing, right? And so I said, let me hit the movie theater at in the mall in Middletown, because I know the back offices, I know the safes, I know how much is going on a box office weekend. So I sat on it, boom, boom, boom. 2 in the morning, hit him, used the AR. I let a shot go in the ceiling because homie thought I was playing. Got 8 employees in the back office, face down, palms flat, eyes closed. If I tap you, I'm talking to you. Search the mall. You open the safe, make it frisk everybody, make sure everybody Gucci. Ain't nobody shooting me in the back. Main manager, get the safes open, lay back down, take his ID out, count to 100, then call the cops. I emptied out the safes, I boogie. 9 days later, state troopers blitz on my crib. So January, I pulled the jukes. I think it was January 5th, 2003. They raided my crib January 14th, 2003. And then they sentenced me, and it was the state troopers that had the crib. When they came, by the time they came, I had work back on the streets. And so my daughter's mother, she was 3 months pregnant with my daughter. She tried to stash the work in her bag, thinking that they was gonna let her go. But they was like, nah, we got a no-knock search warrant. We looking for a gun. So when they first said that, I thought they was coming from Brooklyn around and shit with my pops. But I know ain't no hammers on the crib, so I'm good. So when they found the work on her, it's like you start having her, using her for leverage, she jump out the window. Nah, I did the robbery, the drugs is mine, I put them in her bag, let her go, I'll tell you what you want to know. I confessed to the robbery, and because I did it for Dolo, told him I threw the AR over the bridge, all the robbery money I spent, so you ain't getting nothing back. The DA's first offer was 15. On the day I was there to pick my jury, the judge capped my sentence at 13. Quick funny story, the judge that sentenced me was Judge Rosenwasser. Just recently, he was in the news, he killed himself recently. The feds was on his way to his crib to arrest him up in Middletown. This was on the news recently. He killed himself, Judge Rosenwasser, word. So, and this was the judge that sentenced me.
That's crazy.
So I copped out to the 13. I did close to 11. Came home August 30th, 2013. And that bid, this last bid, the birth of my daughter. I did the Jersey bid, 98 to 02. I was wilding. I broke my knuckle. I'm fighting. We gambling. We extorting. I'm wilding.
Yeah.
This New York bid, this shit broke me. And I know I could bid. It's the fact that I got a child.
It changed.
It changed. I can't do this no more. I can't.
Your mindset, that's it, just out of nowhere.
So Rukups had to die. Rukups had to die, and then I was born Joe G.I., God's instrument. Gave my life to Christ, and I was behind the wall. I'm in the yard, every yard, from Clinton, Maine, to Shawanga, to Eastern, to Woodburn. I'm in every yard. I'm on the courts. But I'm in my books, and I'm in the Word, and I'm out the way, and I'm on the court, and I'm working out. And just don't violate.
Positive vibe, you good.
We good. Just
You
don't
have to do
violate.
it, that's all.
That's it. So
That's how it should be.
facts.
Yeah, you was with Tone, right?
We was.
Yeah.
We was.
Yeah, that's cool. How was that at?
He's in Eastern.
That was Eastern?
Yeah.
Cool. So you while you was in jail, so now you got sentences. What you did while you was incarcerated?
So
I want to know what.
So this BPI
Dr. Joe
bid.
did.
So Dr. Joe, when I got sentenced, first I started working in transitional services up in Clinton with Twin. Shout out to Twin. Twin still, I don't even know if he did, but he got me a job in transitional services. I was working in phase 1, and I started to take a drive every commissary of the homies. I give you a list for $2, $3, $2, $3. Give me soap, give me toothpaste, give me slippers, give me lotion, give me deodorant, give me toothbrush, toothpaste, give me comb, give me brush. Because I ran phase 1 in Clinton, phase 1, if you came from the box, you came from reception, came on the train, you came through there. Your property didn't catch up with you yet, and your money didn't hit yet. So going in and taking a shower, your skin gonna be fucked up unless you know somebody that's gonna set you out if you connected.
Right.
But for the most part, ain't nobody connected. So I didn't know I was doing social work while I was in Clinton, because I was putting care packages together for dudes coming in that this'll hold you down until you get your property or get your money. And so when it's like, yo, Joe, what you want back? I don't want nothing back, just pay it forward. That's how I started my bid. I started the bid recognizing that I couldn't do the bid the same way I did the last bid. The reason, an old head told me, we don't do jail, we do the streets. And I was like, That's one of them philosophical shit. I mean, defer. Oh, hey, what you mean by that? You know, I got stroke your ego. What you mean by that?
Gotta ask the question.
And that's what he told me. One of the best questions, or one of the best answers is, I don't know. It sets the stage for you to learn.
That's right.
So what he told me was, when I say we don't do jail, we do the streets. As long as you don't do anything to compromise your morals and your integrity as a man and as a prisoner, you do everything you need to do to get the fuck up out of here, because this shit is for suckers.
Facts.
Total
1,000,000%.
Total agreement with you.
So my bid then was like, I'm not gambling. My hood is blood, but I'm not blood. So I'm not in the gang shit. I'm not selling drugs. My moms know that despite me being in a situation, I take care of me and mines. And if I don't have, I might turn. So she said, nah, baby, I'm going to make sure you good. So I had a pinky every month. I had a VI coming up at least once a month. She'd get my daughter and bring my daughter. I'm going on trailers with my moms, my grandmas, my daughter, my son.
That's blessed.
You get where I'm going?
Yeah.
So I had to do my bid different. So while I'm bidding, I went from working.
Made it easier for yourself anyway.
It made it easier for myself. At the same time, I'm still in prison. I'm still got locked in. Still got to deal with this motherfucker. So my own account. Still remember the spill when I got the clan with the homie with the babies. Welcome to Clan Danamora. You have any problems, you handle it in the North Yard. We tell you to stop, you stop. You touch one of our officers, we'll kill you. Anybody want to sign in a PC? No? Welcome to Clan. Get off my bus. So for that to be the first stop, for me to go through that time, both times with no PC, no involuntary PC, no smear on my name, that shit was hard. But I think what was harder, to be honest with you, my first bid was hard. The first bid was easy. This bid was hard.
It usually be like that. You do a bid and if you happen to go back, that bid kills you. You know what I mean? You know, it's because I just know because it was like that for me too. Came home, stood there for 6 months. Wow, went back. It was over. I was sick. Oh shit! I got to get this shit together. I'm doing this shit all over. You know what I'm saying? And it was a different. You know, you got older. You get older. You got kids. You know, you start thinking. You know, it's that mind transition when you start. You know, saying to yourself, well, you know, what's going to be more important, is jail shit or me being in the street?
That's a fact. One of the sessions in Fathering Forward is presence versus presence. And too often when we behind the wall, we get this thing, nah, I gotta get there. I make sure my kids is good, make sure my kids is good. I had to ask myself, when I came home, my daughter it was after her 10th birthday. And I said to myself, in my absence, my daughter wasn't naked. In my absence, my daughter wasn't homeless. And in my absence, my daughter wasn't starving. She had food, clothing, and shelter. So anything that I'm able to bring to the table in the time that I could bring it is a plus, because in my absence, she did not go without. So I don't have to put this trick in my mind like I gotta jump out the window and
Yeah, you gotta make up and oh shit, I gotta make up for the time being. Because a lot of brothers get caught up with that, Tone. A lot of brothers get caught up, come home and they feel that they gotta make up for the time they wasn't there. And they get caught up. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely, you know, I always tell brothers, man, when you come home, patient, man, take your time. You know what I'm saying? That's how you're gonna make it.
That's a fact.
Once you start rushing and shit like that and start getting into all kind of shit, you get caught up so fast that you already know. You want time you know it'd be too late.
That's a fact.
You know
I think too a lot of that has a lot to do with, there's a saying that if people that win the lottery, they go broke within 5 years because they have no plan, they don't know what to do with it. I always say, when Judge Rosenwasser sentences me, in my mind I say, yo, you done fucked up, right? Yo, you really know you done fucked up, right? And for me, the reason was, you gave me time to sit down and think. You gave a thinker time to sit down and think and strategize. I knew I had to do my bid differently. Not just because my daughter's mom was 3 months pregnant and then my daughter was born that very next year when I was, or later on that year. It was because I swore I wouldn't be like my father, and based on my own series of decisions, I was in prison and wasn't going to be there. But knowing that because I had daylight, what am I going to do with this time to make sure I never come back in this motherfucker?
Facts.
And that's what's in my power. And so that's when I started as working with transitional services, Also notice I needed a college degree. I can't come home being a 2-time violent felon because the drugs and guns in Jersey was violent. This armed robbery is violent. So I'm a 2-time violent felon. You look on my jacket, YO or not, it's guns, it's mad guns.
Mm-hmm.
I said to myself, I gotta come home doing something that, 1, is gonna keep me home, 2, is gonna give my life purpose and meaning, and 3, it's my way of giving back. And when I was studying in Bard College on the inside, before I got there, and I'll tell you how I like the push to get there, I came across this passage in The Souls of Black Folks by W.E.B. Du Bois.
That's right.
And the book is famously known for the line, for the problem with the 21st century, or 20th century is the problem with the colored line. That's like a famous line. Further in the back, though, there's a quote that I love, and it says, "But the chief problem in any community cursed with crime is not punishment of the criminals, but in the preventing of the young from being trained to crime." The book was published in 1903. 1903. That means 9 times out of 10 he wrote it in the late 1800s. The late 1800s. He said, but the chief problem in any community cursed with crime, late 1800s, communities cursed with crime, is not the punishment of the criminals, mass incarceration,
Right.
but in the preventing of the young,
Of the young.
for being trained to crime. So I came home saying, that's my mission. My mission and my success measure or value, if I could steer one kid away from going to prison, I'm a success.
Absolutely.
And in the 12 years I've been home, I've steered many away.
So with that being said, I think you made a smooth transition from entering prison, spending time in prison, and how you had a mindset shifting, and then you stopped at making it home and doing the good work, right? So tell us a little bit about that work, and some of the degrees you've acquired since you've been home, and tell us about that journey.
Yes. So making it and I gotta hit on this. And this was part of that journey. I knew I had to get to college. And from Clinton, I was trying to get to Sing Sing. Got a transfer, made it to Shawanka. Put in another one, I'm trying to get to Sing Sing. Got to Eastern. I'm mad at God. God was good. Like, I'm not understanding your chess moves right now. Second day there, I'm at late rec. I'm talking with the brother Rock, and he says, yo, they got Bard here. And I'm like, Bard, what's that? And he said, college. And Tone, Pete, when I say the chess moves just so I figured I'm getting into this school, and I'm going to not only get this associates, I'm going to apply and get the bachelor's. Right. 2013, get the bachelor's, also got the CR date with the 6 months off. So I'm coming home 2013. What am I coming home to do? One of the professors had brought up some paper about Columbia University having their social work program. And they had the 2-year, the 3-year, and the 16-month track. But the key with the 16-month track, it starts in, you got to apply by October. So my initial CR date is March 2nd, 2014. But because I got my degree, I get that 6 months off, that pushes it to September 2nd, 2013.
So you'd be home
September 2nd is Labor Day, so I came home that Friday, August 30th.
Gotcha.
So I was home to apply
for
to the
that
16-month,
Yeah.
and then I got in. So January of 2014, mind you, I came home August 30th, so let's say September of 2013. January 2014, I'm starting Columbia University for my master's after doing 11 and then 15 years in prison.
I love that.
So I came home with the
with
plan and the strategy. Yes, the purpose.
And you know one thing I like to emphasize? I tell guys all the time, when we back behind the wall, that you only thinking about freedom. But that is not enough.
Facts.
Because they're going to let you go. And then you'll realize that you got a whole lot of other problems you need to be thinking about.
Facts.
Right? So the freedom is the easy part, right? In some instances, right? But when you get released, now you sit there and you like, holy cow. What am I going to do now? So the goal is to begin talking to individuals and creating a discussion about what we doing now. Yeah, we working on our freedom. We're in a law library, right? But what else are we doing, right, to put us in a winning set of circumstances when we touch down? You did it. I commend you on that, bro.
I appreciate
Facts. You came home with a purpose.
I appreciate
You know what I'm saying? And you've
plan.
been home 12 years?
This
You
August
execute
30th
it.
make 12 years.
Execute it.
Yeah.
What's one of the craziest things you seen when you was incarcerated? That never left your mind. That you say, damn, I was in a mess hole and whatever, anything. Anything you can share for the young brothers out there.
All right, true story. I saw a young kid come up with a 1 to 3. He had a 1 to 3. He was scheduled to go home, if not the next day, the next week. He got into a fight and stabbed something. I don't think the nigga ever made it home. A 1 to 3 means you have to do between 1 year and 3 years max. So then typically that might be 8 months, 9 months, good behavior, but then that year mark, he never made it home. That shit is for the birds for me in there. I think the craziest thing too is the trick. When you think of slavery and its successes, it was minimal slave masters on a plantation with maximum slaves, and yet they were docile and in control. And when we think about these prison institutions and spaces, there's a plethora of prisoners. There's a certain amount of officers, and yet our gaze of the ops is on one another. That's the most asinine shit in the world for me, because the ops, the brother in green, don't got the keys to my cell. They don't have the access to pop the lever to lock or unlock my gate or to turn on the phone. So how is that my enemy? But it's also the vestiges of what we were taught in the community. We're taught to hate one another. If I ask any of my youngins to describe the optics, how your op looks, how hairstyle, clothes, slang, music choices.
Looks like me.
Looks like me. You're going to describe yourself. So we've been taught to hate ourselves.
Right.
So that's one of the craziest things I've seen behind the wall is how do we continue falling into this trick?
That's right. How you feel about prison reform?
I'm a reformist. Right now, I'm not an abolitionist, to be honest with you. And what I mean by that is, we hear in the news about the Rex Hubermans, you killing a bunch of women out on Long Island and they finding the bodies. We hear about homie that killed the students while they was in their bed and sleeping. And we got these people that just walk up in spaces and indiscriminately harm individuals that you don't got no beef with. If you can't tell me logically what you could do with individuals like that in the community and how to keep the community safe, then we can't logically talk about abolishing prison. So then, all right, as a consequence of some of our actions and behaviors, I'm for reforming prison practices. When we look at Denmark, we look at Finland, we look at other countries, the way they practice prison policies is under the lens that this incarcerated individual is a member of the community who will return to the community.
Back to our community.
Back to the community. So the prison process is a restorative process.
I got you.
When we look at our prison process, well, tricks. I love the tricks, the chess moves. Slavery is legal for those of y'all that don't know. Slavery is legal in the U.S. for those of y'all that don't know. Slavery is legal in the context of if you have been convicted of a crime. So if you have been convicted of a crime, you will and can be in prison, and at that point in time, you then become slaves. Slave labor, right? In the design of this process, when we look at the Constitution, right, All right, we're going to have to edit that because I lost that.
Go ahead.
But Bradley, what was the question again? Because I lost the...
Prison reform.
Prison reform. So when we talk about prison reform, I am about reforming our practices. I am about reforming our system of incarceration so that we can minimize the traumas that we experience pre-prison, during prison, and post-prison. Because re-entry is a traumatic experience in and of itself. Mm-hmm. And so when we talk about reform, prison reform, re-entry starts at what point? The point of arrest. Mm-hmm. How many of us are actually conceptualizing re-entry as a thing that happens at the point of arrest? Mm. So we're not preparing individuals for that transition to come home to achieve successful reintegration. And that's the work I'm looking to build. That's the work I'm doing.
That's what we on the same page. That's what we strive for, man, each and every day.
Mindset shifting.
You know what I'm saying? Mindset shifting. We go to prison, we go to penitentiaries, Shawanga, Green Haven. We go out there, we go out there as warriors, man, of God. You know what I'm saying? And talk to the young brothers and talk to the older brothers, because a lot of the older brothers that have been home, that have been incarcerated since we was incarcerated, they want to come home.
Talking to the sisters as well.
Yeah.
Facts.
So yeah, I think some of the angles that you touched on was real important angles, but also too when we think about hating our ops. In many instances, we got to look at that part of ourselves that constantly sabotage our successes, right? And when we begin to hate that part of ourselves to where we want to take that part of ourselves and transition that part of ourselves to be a companion to our success, I think that's when we begin to really get on that path of mindset shifting and that path of success. So, yeah, a lot of times we're looking externally, but the lens has to be focused internally to begin to look at ourselves, because in many instances, the decisions that we make are our own, and we put ourselves in certain sets of circumstances. So I just wanted to add that,
That's a fact.
Definitely.
That's a fact. The series of decisions, one decision leads to another decision, leads to another, becomes an outcome, right? And all behavior is learned behavior.
Yep.
So when we're asking for our youth, when we're asking for the community to level up, to do better, to be better, my thing is, who's modeling it? Who's out there in the trenches actually modeling what they need, right? Because when we think about Jesus' approach, and it's not as a disciple of Christ, this is not to make anything religious. Jesus didn't stay in a church and preach. He went where the people was.
He went to the field.
He sat with the people. He was in the cribs with them.
That's a fact.
He was doing the job.
He
was doing the work.
That's the work that we're doing.
That's the work that's right. That's why this platform was created.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? For that reason, for that main reason, to give brothers a platform, a voice, because we know us being incarcerated, we never had a voice.
That's a fact.
So here we be able to express our voices. You know what I'm saying? And let it be known that the transition is there. You can be transitioned. If you see us, look at us. You would never think 20 years ago we'd be here doing this.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So, this is my thing. To everything I do is for the youth, man. You know what I'm saying? Just like you said, we could alleviate one or two from going to the same path that we went through. Is a blessing to us.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? I want to speak a little bit about the greatness that you're doing out here, or the greatness that you're doing, or your job, with how to get in contact, and anything you could assist with, how to contact you, anything that you could.
So reach out to me on IG, Dr. for Joe GI. The GI is God's instrument. My email is Will LCSW, so that's 3 L's, JOEWILL LCSW @gmail.com. If you're looking for therapeutic services, I'm on Headway. I'm also on AMA. I'm growing the platform to recruit more therapists or more clinicians with lived experience. That was actually my dissertation topic, the need for more credible clinicians. Those are clinicians with lived experience of crime and mass incarceration who can reach what are called the hard to reach population, right? Because therapy works. I think about my parole stipulations. I had the curfew, this, that. Nothing ever said to get connected to a therapist for the traumas that I experienced. But as a social worker, I was encouraged to be connected to a therapist based on the nature of my work. So my work, since I've been home, I've been able to get my social work license. I was able to get my clinical social work license. I now have my doctorate, so I am my doctorate, my PhD in social work from NYU. And I have my therapy practice, Joe Williams LCSW, PLLC. I have my counseling consultant firm, Lyfe-Chess YNK. I'm working to establish lived experience therapists, which I'm looking to recruit therapists from all walks of life with all sorts of experience to address the traumas, the people that experience all sorts of things, right? I never struggled with anorexia or an eating disorder, but a therapist who has, there'd be a dope fit for someone who is currently struggling. So that's my goal. Absolutely. That's my idea. That's what we looking. So hit me up.
Excellent. Do what you do, baby. Dr. Joe in the building.
Yo,
Brownsville, East New York.
Believe that.
Huh?
It was a pleasure having you, my brother.
Appreciate
you. Know what I'm saying? You're definitely doing greatness, man, and I appreciate what you're doing.
Brooklyn to the BX.
And just know that we recognize what you're doing.
Facts.
And we salute you for that. You know what I'm saying? Just know the platform is here for any time you want to come back. You know what I'm saying? To promote anything that you have going on. Definitely. And we'll definitely stay in contact, you know, because if we happen to have, you know, need for somebody that, you know, with that profession as far, you know, as a therapist, we're going to definitely make sure that we reach out to Dr. Joe Williams, man.
That's a
you already know. And with that being said, man, you already know. Blessings to everyone out there, man. It's your boy, Pistol Pete, dog in the yard, and this motherfucker.
BX Toll. You already know, dog in the yard. Let's get to it.
Dr. Joe Williams.
Dr. Joe, NY,
East New York.
East New York.
What up? You already know it's your boy, Pistol Pete. Welcome back to Dog in the Yard. First and foremost, I want to thank and salute Dr. Joseph Williams for coming through. Appreciate having you, my brother. Keep doing your thing. I mean, as you can see, 2013, he got his bachelor's. He been doing greatness out there, giving back to the public, helping his people out, and that's what it's about, man. Appreciate you, brother. Keep doing greatness. Keep changing lives, man. And with that being said, it's your boy, Pistol Pete, dog in the yard.
Who are these KAR guys anyways? See a op and we slide.